Good morning. Welcome again to Mornings with Michael. And today I'm beginning a week of reflections from the story of Noah. You know, it's a story that we often put in our nurseries and churches and Christian families with the rainbow and God's promise of never flooding the earth again. It's a story of all the animals in the ark, and we make it kind of a cute little story, but the reality is it's pretty much anything but that. And one of my reflections during the weekend, as we taught on this at Duluth Vineyard this weekend, was the whole idea of how in this story we see God as an artist deeply invested in his creation and incredibly brokenhearted at the way humanity had really turned away from him and from really what is healthy life. And so God invites Noah into if you want to hear more about that, you could listen to the message. The thing I want to reflect on today is how God invites Noah into this journey with him, to partner with him, about 120 years before it starts to rain. It's like almost, what would that be? Like 2 to 3 working lifetimes of preparation for participating in what God is doing. And there's something about kind of the longevity of Moses's willingness to give himself to what God was up to. So in a pretty arid climate, he begins the work of building like a floating shipping container, something about 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, like 45 feet tall, cutting the lumber, like doing all the work of building this thing in the ancient world by hand, and probably with only his family as help for 120 years. One of the things that is a difficulty for many of us is staying committed long term to things that maybe God has invited us into, or dreams, desires that we have, and staying with those things really for a long period of time, not just giving up and running away when it gets hard, not quitting, but really actively staying engaged in things that we don't see any fruit from immediately. And there's this truth of relationship with God, this kingdom truth that there's always sowing. In between sowing and reaping, there's always waiting. And when the waiting gets intense, or it seems longer than what we're used to or what we desire, our timing doesn't match what the timing that God has in our lives, it's sometimes easy to walk away and to give up. I just want to encourage us to stay faithful to the things that God has invited us to do. Loving him, worshiping him, loving our neighbors well, investing in kingdom fruit in our lives, seeing the fruits of the Spirit, the love, the joy, peace, patience, goodness, gentleness, self-control, seeing that develop in our lives well, investing in that over the long haul. And as somebody who's been following Christ for 40 some years, it's incredibly worth it to see it continue to develop and be reflected in areas of your life that sometimes are a great surprise. Like you wouldn't even think that somehow that's the way it's going to work, and it does. Like that you would be patient or loving in that situation, and you are. And so just an encouragement this morning. Father, would you give us the grace to stick with the assignments you've given us? One of our old phrases in the vineyard is, old orders are good orders. The things that God has invited us into, until he changes it, may we be faithful. May we learn from Noah in that way. Bless you.